for the listeners out there, I'm wearing a Chicago police hat. And this was given to me by my oldest friend in the world, who is a Chicago police officer. And the story, I was talking to him a couple weeks ago, and I check in with him all the time about not just like stuff that's happening in the city, but like life stuff. We talk about football. He's just like my best friend. And one of the things I was asking him about a couple weeks ago was the morale of the police department. And he's a homicide detective. So, business is good. He's busy. There's a lot happening.
Oh, Chicago.
There.
Yeah.
I know.
Yeah, I know.
I just said, hey, man, why don't you guys feel like you need a rebranding? People need to feel a little pride in the police department again. I mean, sure, there's been some egregious things that have happened in law enforcement all over the country that have been highlighted. But I equated it to like going into a Whole Foods and having like, one batch of rotten bananas and then looking at the entire store and being like, we have to throw all this food out. Get rid of all the food. That feels like a little bit of what's happened with the Chicago Police Department. So I said, Nick, send me up a hat. I really want to wear a hat and rep the CPD. He said, you don't want a hat. They're going to throw tomatoes at you. I said, no, I'm used to it. Just give me a hat. So I wore this hat when I was traveling in an airport, and I had the Chicago police hat on, but when you wear a hat, you forget what it says. And so like you can't see it because it's above your head. And I was in the Salt Lake City airport bar. There was a group of people in the corner, and they were kind of looking at me, and I gave them a nod. And then one of the guys came up and he gave me a beer. I said, you don't have to buy me a beer, man. He said, no, I really appreciate your work. And I was, I was totally flattered. And I was thinking like, maybe, I just had a movie come out. There's a possibility that someone might have seen it and possibly liked it. And so I was flattered and I accepted the beer and I started talking with the guy. And then he said, I'm really honored to meet you. And I thought, wow, it's a little too much. I did make some good choices in this film and did some character stuff, but I'd be honored to meet me. And then he said, this is where my face went white. He said, how long have you been on the force? And I went, oh no, I'm not a cop. I'm an actor. And the guy goes, Jesus Christ. And he turned around.
Mustache Tales.